My name is Chris Impey. I'm Distinguished Professor of Astronomy at the University of Arizona. The Astrobiology Center, it's unusual because most academics work in their silos. You know, the physicists work with physicists, the astronomers work with astronomers. Astrobiology is interdisciplinary, so it brings together chemists, biologists, physicists, planetary scientists. So it breaks down those silos and those barriers, and that's unusual. Astrobiology is a growing field. Astronomy is doing very well, of course, with James Webb and Hubble and big telescopes coming, including the one we're building. But astrobiology is growing probably even more strongly because the number of exoplanets is going up and everyone's engaged with trying to find life beyond Earth. So it's a really hot research field. Astrobiology is a small field. You know, it's a lot smaller than biology, for example, probably 30 times smaller than biology, but it is growing and it's pretty well funded. NASA funds astrobiology, and there's other federal money available, and some private and philanthropic money. So it's a well-funded field. So people who go into it, you know, are going to probably get jobs and be able to get fellowships and be able to get support for their research. I'd say if you come to Arizona, you're coming to one of the astronomy centers of the world, and astrobiology is a flavor, a niche of that, where we're doing extremely well. We're building big instruments that may succeed in finding life on an exoplanet in the next few years. So you'd be right at the epicenter of a very hot research field with good opportunities, you know, really good faculty teaching the courses, and this interdisciplinary center to sort of enrich the conversation across the boundaries between biology and chemistry and astronomy. Well, it colors the whole of astronomy because it's such an important topic now. I came here before exoplanets were even discovered. They were discovered first in 1995, so this whole field sort of started growing then because now we knew there were planets around other stars. And at the moment, it's a much more mature field. Astrobiology is also about how did life start on Earth, and is that a common thing? Do we expect what happened on Earth to be unique, a fluke, because that's possible, or something that could happen on a rocky planet elsewhere? And so some of astrobiology is about looking at the Earth and the history of life on Earth, and that's a very active research field. There are even people who try and see whether you can create life in the lab as a way of trying to understand how the first life developed. Well, I would imagine just steadily growing numbers of students. I would hope we would have an astrobiology PhD, at the very least a PhD minor, so you combine it with astronomy or some other discipline. I would hope the number of undergrads taking astrobiology or studying it could increase, which probably means we need to build a few more courses. And then just that the U of A has a very national, big footprint nationally and internationally in astrobiology. I mean, we've always been players right from the beginning of the field, but the Astrobiology Center is a sort of basis for expanding our international reputation. Yeah, and if we with our telescope, say the GMT down in Chile, say at the end of the century, we isolate an Earth-like planet, sniff the atmosphere and say, oh, oxygen, there are microbes on that planet. That's like huge news, probably the big discovery of the 21st century to that point. Someone's going to do it, and it's quite possibly going to come from our facilities and our telescopes and our researchers. No, I mean, it's just an exciting subject. It's worth noting that some research in astronomy, or even in science generally, is a bit esoteric. You know, it's hard to describe frontier chemistry in a way that the average member of the public can understand. But everyone knows what it means for there to be life on a planet, and everyone's interested in, are we alone? Which is the foundational question behind astrobiology. And so it's a subject that lays a very big hook with the general public and the people you might talk to at Thanksgiving dinner or at Christmas or something, just in your family or friends. So it's not just something you do for research and it's very abstract and esoteric. It's something that you can talk to the general public. And I do a lot of public speaking. I have online classes about astrobiology, and I sort of go out there and proselytize astrobiology as much as I can.